Hello, Education2301. Here is your week 5 explanation. We are moving on to a new special population and we'll be talking about English language learners. So language and ESL, which is English as a second language. Now the world of education has lots of acronyms, and so getting to know them is important. So these will be due next Friday on the 20th. We have one carryover from last week, just because we're all done with special populations or special education, and now we're going to move on to applying it. And then there's an activity and your time log for English language learning. So here's the materials that are currently in the content. So this is approaches to bilingual education. There are 3 approaches to it, which is English as a second language, bilingual education, and two-way bilingual education. This is a video that I did over learning a second language, so you understand the thought process that's going on if someone comes here with Spanish and then we ask them to learn English. What skills are they using that are the same? What's that trajectory that goes on? The other part has to do with culture. And when you have English language learners, you're going to have a host of cultures in the classroom. And knowing each one and including each one and making sure everybody feels represented. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they're like, well, if they come to the United States, they need to learn English, because if I went there, and I was talking to the man and his wife was from Ecuador, and the point is if I went to Ecuador, I would learn Spanish and I would learn the customs, but I would hope that somebody, a teacher or friend, would ask me about what my life was like in the United States, that there would be a book of someone who looked like me, that they'd want to know about my holidays. If they talked about it and celebrated in the classroom, how much more seen and known would I feel in the classroom? And so that's what it is how do you incorporate culture and multicultural education into there? And no matter who they are and the experiences and the educational level of the parent, they always bring something to the table. They're called funds of knowledge. And so they may be an expert on selling, they may be an expert on cars, they may be an expert on horses, but how can you connect to that? And then down here is some more about English language strategies, some websites. She does an amazing job talking about how we need to have multiple perspectives in the classroom. The next activity is going to be on the IEP paper, and there should be a video, so I'm not going to go very much in depth, but you are going to pick an exceptionality. You're going to create a child. If you know one, you're welcome to use them. Give me a pseudonym for them, but on one page, tell me, just describe them to me if I had never met them. The big thing that most people lose points on is they don't find 2 resources available in the community. They can be parent support groups, they can be activities for the child to be involved in, it could be different types of therapies, something along those lines. And then have it in APA formatting. Here's the forms that you need. Here's the rubric. Next is going to be your week 5 activity. And so I want you to experience what someone who is an English language learner may experience in the classroom. So this lady is teaching a dual language mini lesson. So there's kids, I think, who speak Spanish and kids who speak English in this classroom. And she speaks 100% in Spanish. So you're going to be a Spanish language learner. And I want you to think about, what is this lesson about? What is she asking me to do? What concept did I learn? What vocabulary do I have? So I want you to think about it from a student's perspective, how you feel in this lesson. Then answer these questions. What's it about? And how do you know it? I mean, and some of it may be like, well, Spanish, I'm fluent in Spanish, which would be amazing. What strategies did she use to support you as a Spanish language learner to understand and be successful? So go back and look at those strategies from the content material. She does many great examples in there. And then what are your takeaways? What have you learned trying to learn in a second language? And what can you do for English language learners in your classroom? Then you've got the time log. Over more content, this is going to replace your field experience in the classroom where you would hopefully be in an ESL classroom or a bilingual classroom. So when you go in, it's like the special education one. A little over an hour, but once again, here's the link to the videos, and they're more showing you strategies and things to consider. So then you'll summarize it in 3 to 5 sentences, and then at the end, you've got the putting it all together reflection, which I'm looking for at least a couple paragraphs with that. And then here's the rubric. And so that is your week 5 explanation on English language learners. And I look forward to reading about your experiences.